Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning. I hope you've grabbed a cup of coffee and you're about to join me. As you join me this morning, let me know that you're there and that you're where you're watching from, and throw some hearts up there. Let me know that you are awake and ready this morning. Good morning. I see some people joining me this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yay, I am ready for this Monday morning. I have missed y'all over the weekend. Good morning, Roger. Yay, a little bit of a later start this morning. We've had a busy weekend. Hi, Gay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yay, yay. I'm loving all the relationships you guys are building on here. Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, Regina. Jamie, are your kiddos with you this morning? Good morning, Brittany. Good morning. Yay. Hi, Roger. I did. I had a very busy weekend, but it was a good weekend. Good morning. Oh, yay. Yay. It's good y'all miss me too, because I do. I miss you guys over the weekend. Yay. I sure love that Gunter family. Hope to see y'all soon. Good morning, Judy. You're watching from Texas right now, aren't you? Hi, Brittany. Woohoo. You've been waiting? Yes. Yes. Yay. Hi, Lydia. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it was a great service yesterday. We had some problems with the sound. Thank you for helping us, Regina. But after a while, we get the sound working. Hi, Pam. Hi, Kim. Yay. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. Yay. Hi, Rhonda. Yay. I like that smiley face. Woohoo. Good morning. Good morning. Everybody's joining in. We're just giving everybody just a few minutes to join in. Yay. I'm loving how y'all talk to each other. Hi, Dana. How are you, girl? Yay. Yay. Yes, Judy is watching from Tyler, Texas. Yay. Pray for Gigi. 5 grandkiddos last night. Oh, wow. Yes, she kept 5 grandkids last night. Woohoo. I hope she got some sleep. Yes. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning. Hi, Brad. Thank you. Thank you. Yay. Sorry. Sometimes I miss your comments because they're coming in so fast. Yay. Good morning. Good morning. Got a little bit of a late start this morning. So, hi, Kenny. How are you? Yay. Karen. Hey, my sister. She's in South Carolina. Yay. Good morning. Good morning. Yay. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys keep saying good morning, and I love the way you guys are saying good morning to one another and getting to know one another. I love that. Yes, yes. Yay. I'm not ignoring your comments, so keep them coming. Hi, Tiffany. And of course, the majority of the people who watch these, oh, Danielle, hey, girl. The majority of the people who watch these do watch them in the replay. So, you guys, you know, if you are watching the replay, we also want you to comment, be involved in the conversation. Let us know what God's doing in your life. Pray for those when you see the comments come up for prayer, and leave your prayer requests as well, because all of these viewers, we pray for one another, and we've seen some great things happen. We appreciate the encouragement that you guys leave. Me and the girls go back, we read them and look back over them, and we use them as encouragement as we continue on with what God is doing in our lives. So thank you for sharing our videos as well, and just keeping the word out there for us to be consumed by the call. For those of you who don't know me in the replay, my name is Francine Ivey. Through some things that have happened in my life here recently, on January 8th, I lost my husband to a tragic accident. It was a car accident, and through that, he actually was the first one who started. He was a full-time minister. He was the first one who started these Inspired Life Daily Devos, and the Lord has just used this community to well, I mean, he just called me out and told me to start doing these devos, and God has used it as healing to my family. He's used it to wrap a community around me, and it has been just amazing to watch God work through this. And so through that, God just is calling us out to be consumed by the call. And if you haven't caught some of my earlier devotionals, I would encourage you to go back, especially the one that kind of starts the whole thing, which is my "Thy will be done" moment. You know, "Thy will be done" moment. If you can go back and listen to that, it kind of explains where all this started. Today I want to talk about where do you put your tears, because I'm going to be really honest with you. This has been a process. This is the mourning is a process, and I'm well aware that there'll be lots of up and downs, and I'll be honest, weekends are very difficult. Sundays are even more difficult with my husband being a pastor, and yes, we are still at the church while the church transitions into a brand new pastor, but by Sunday afternoon I'm struggling a bit, because that's the day when Wade and I would discuss what happened, how God moved. I miss his preaching. He also led worship. I miss being in the middle. I'm gonna cry. I miss being in his worship and all of those things. And I know that mourning is a process, and it's all a part of it. And right now I'm just kind of in that process of just having that just that constant little ache in my heart. You know, it's to a point now where the distractions of just busyness are not enough. And everything around me reminds me of him. He was bigger than life, you guys. I mean, he could fill a room with laughter and presence, and he was strength in the middle of chaos and all of those things. I mean, you're not married for 27 years and not have that, especially with God in the middle of your marriage, that there's a big hole with him not being with me, let alone the wisdom. And we parented together, we worked together, everything we did together. And so there's just there's a big hole here. And then obviously with that, there's a pretty constant ache in the midst of all of that. And I find myself with just a cloud of sadness. At the same time, God is faithful and good, and he has been there and met me at every step. But as I began to think about that this morning, as I began to deal with my emotions yesterday, which keeps me kind of quiet, which is unusual for me. I'm not normally quiet, you guys. I'm a talker, and I found myself being kind of quiet a lot yesterday. And so as I was contemplating last night and this morning about what I would speak about, I thought again about the story in Luke 7 that we talked about Friday. Friday, we talked about Luke 7, and it's verses 36 through 50. It's one of my favorite stories of the Bible. It is the woman with the alabaster jar of perfume where she broke it out. And we talked about worship Friday and the power of worship. And oh my goodness, it is so true. And I'll be honest with you, I fill my house with worship right now. When you are going through something, you need to fill your house with his presence. You need to fill it with worship. Just a constant reminder of the God that you serve and his ability to meet your need. I talked about Friday about the fact that if you're trying to find God in the middle of your pain or in the middle of your tragedy or in the middle of your confusion, you need to look for him at the address 123 praise. You just begin to praise him. And sure enough, God did that. Even right after the broadcast, I had to run to the grocery store, and there was just overwhelming feeling of having to do everything alone. And I remembered what I said that morning, and I just started praising him. But before I knew it, God reminded me that even with Wade, we weren't running our lives. He was running our lives, and that he had everything taken care of the things that I was worried about. So yes, praise is a big portion of that. But this morning on Luke 7 and the verses 38 that I want to bring out to you. So Luke 7:38, it says, "As she stood behind him at his feet weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears, and when she wiped them with her hair, kissed them and poured perfume on them." Later on, Jesus is re-describing what happened, and down in verse 44, let's see. he is reiterating the power of what she's doing. And he says, then he turned toward the woman and said to Simon, do you see this woman? I came into your house. You did not give me any water for my feet, but she wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. And so the question I have is, what do you do with your tears? This world's full of reasons to cry, you guys. We live in a very broken world. We live, you know, I already did a devotional not too long ago that said, you know, why does bad things happen to good people? And, you know, the only answer to that is that we're just not exempt. You know, as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, and you know, there's a part of me that wants to proclaim that I live in a different realm, that somehow everything should be going perfectly for me, even though I live in this broken realm. But it's just not. It's not the truth. We don't live exempt from the evils of this world or the touch of this world, and it's hard. It's just hard. And, you know, I could go through the accident and wonder, was it the cars that were a part of the problem, the ones that were backing up, or you know, that the accident that my husband had involved 3 cars and a semi, and you know, and you want to blame something. You want to say, you know, is it because he went to the Dollar General? What if he didn't go to the Dollar General? There's just tons of like these types of questions, and you can throw your tears toward those questions that you'll never get an answer for. You could throw your tears, as the old country song says, you know, there are tears in my beer. You know, Wade used to laugh about that song all the time. Where are you going to throw your tears? In an addiction, into your work, into all of those things? And none of that is going to bring what it means to do just like this lady did and throw her tears at his feet. Throw her tears at his feet. You see, I've read this before and I thought, my goodness, how many tears did it take? How many tears did it take to wash his feet? That's a lot of tears, you guys. That's a lot of tears. And I've never really thought about where those tears came from for her. Now, going back to the beginning of the story, you find out that she was a sinful woman. You also find out through the story as you read it that Simon was rejecting her, that the room was full of people who wouldn't even want her to touch them. The amount of rejection that this woman sat in, what led, we have no idea through the story what led to the sinful life that she lived. The amount of pain or abuse or what happened in her family, as something may have happened as a child. But in order to be in this situation, there had to be a lot of things that happened, a lot of pain that happened. And I believe with all of my heart, yes, she was worshiping. Yes, she was, you know, she knew who Christ was. But I believe that the tears that came at his feet came from a deep pain. And the fact that she knew if she could just pour that pain out onto his feet, that there would be an answer to all of that. And I can tell you right now, in the midst of everything that's going on in our lives, I am clinging to Jesus with all of my heart. I am laying my tears at his feet. I am not trying to pretend that I'm not aching and that I'm not hurting. What I'm doing is I'm taking that ache and that pain and that missing, and I am laying it onto his feet amidst my worship. And you know what that does? See, putting it inside of a beer, or putting it in your work, or putting it on people, doesn't bring back what you need. But if you will lay your pain and you will lay your hurt and mix it with your worship right down at his feet, God promises some things. One, the Bible says that he will comfort those who mourn. So, and mourning is not just like losing a loved one. We mourn lots of things. And, you know, God says, if you will throw it at my feet, I will comfort you. I will bring you the comfort that you need. And oh my goodness, God has. He has so brought the comfort. He has met me right where I needed to be every time. You will also find love. If you look in the story, you can hear the love in Jesus' voice as he says, your sins are forgiven. As he looks at her and says, your faith has made you whole. He loves her. And if you will lay your pain at his feet, You will find a love that casts out fear, the Bible describes. Not only that, you will find a strength from that place. As I pour out to Him, as I cling to Him with everything I have, as I pour my tears out at His feet, as that happens, I find that when I get up from that place, I have a strength that I don't understand. It was just like, I remember there were so many times I had two very amazing examples of men of God in my life, my dad and my husband. And I remember there were times when it felt like all of chaos had broken out and I couldn't figure out what to do or how I was even going to do it. And in both cases, and when I was young with my father, he would just walk into the room and everything, I mean, it was just like I could gather strength from that, and he just the chaos would end. And the same was with my husband. I remember lots and lots of times that life would just be crazy and I couldn't figure out, and he would just walk into the room and I could feel the peace of knowing that he would take care of it all. You will find that when you pour your tears out on Jesus's feet. Do not be afraid of mixing your praise with your tears. Allow God to know the pain, just as this woman did. She poured the perfume of praise on his feet, but it was mixed with the tears of her pain, and she released that and laid that at his feet. The next thing is, and the most important that I found when I lay my tears at his feet, is I found a purpose. Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to His purpose. See, in the midst of my pain, and you know, I'm not the only one. I have so many. I have a very close family friend who's gone through, family of friends that have also gone through a tragedy, and their response as they've taken their pain to Jesus and continue 6 months later, they're still continuing to take that pain to Him, and what keeps coming from that is purpose. There has to be a purpose for all of this. And I can tell you there's such great comfort in knowing that God is going to change the world through this pain that we're having to deal with, through this loss that we're having to deal with. I'm reading a book by Levi Lusko. He's a pastor out of Montana who founded a church out there, who lost a child 5 days after Christmas, his 5-year-old child, to an asthma attack. And as I began to read that book, I realized the same call is on his life and the same need. God, just give me purpose for my loss. Just give me purpose. Well, you're not going to find it if you place your pain anywhere else. If you dependent upon a person, or you're dependent upon distractions or any of that, you're going to gain that purpose, that reason, and not reason, because you're not going to get a reason, you guys. There's no answers as to why. I cannot go to my whys, but I can ask God, do not let one thing go to waste, not one tear, not one loss. God, just give me purpose. And God is showing me the purpose that He will give me, the purpose and the power. He's empowering us. So yes, we go through hard times, and yes, my heart aches right now. But just like this woman in Luke 7, it's okay. Lay those tears at His feet. And there are just sometimes when I wrap myself up in His coat, or my beautiful friend took his ties and created a quilt out of his ties, some of his favorite ties, and I just, you know, after I brought it home, just stuck my face in it. That's all I could do, because I miss him so bad. But amidst all of that, my heart, my spirit, and my soul is crying out, God, just give me purpose. And He is doing it. He is doing it. I love you guys so much. And I just encourage you, if you are going through something right now, take your praise, lay it at His feet, but mix all those tears in with it. And God will answer your heart with comfort and love and strength and purpose. He will do it, I promise you. Trust Him with your tears. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me every morning. Thank you for helping me through this season. And I cannot tell you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Continue to share. continue to share. And I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to go back and read all of your awesome comments. Thank you for those hugs. Thank you. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. See you tomorrow, 7:30.